Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. Expect to see more police pursuits and for longer as the heat goes on, fleeing drivers from today. The crackdown comes after 10,000 people led police on chases last year, double the number recorded prior to 2020.
But experts say while the tougher approach is understandable, it could cause more deaths on our roads, including innocent people. Karen Rutherford reports.
Fleeing drivers are unpredictable, dangerous and can be deadly, and now they're on notice.
What we're aiming for with this policy is to reduce the number of people who flee from police and increase safety overall, accepting that when we pursue there is risk with that.
And at the weekend, evidence of that in Dunedin. 1 dead, 3 injured within a minute of police pursuing this car following a burglary. But from today, police are adopting a tougher stance after 5,000 more drivers fled from them last year.
We've gone from an apprehension rate of about 70% of all drivers who flee to less than half that figure. So it has been a dramatic reduction, and that's where we're looking to readdress the balance.
Police are giving away little detail.
Because clearly there's a real interest in offenders not knowing what police will do.
But expect more pursuits on our streets, depending on the crime and the risk to the public.
For example, aggravated robbery offending, a vehicle flees, say from a crime scene. If there is a apprehension of further ongoing serious offending, that may open the door for police to pursue.
University of Canterbury research into just what makes fleeing drivers tick has found that mostly young people will purposely drive more dangerously during a chase because they want police to call it off, and they know the threshold is currently so low.
I would be worried that if there is an increase in that threshold, then the behaviour of the fleeing drivers will also become more dangerous in order to meet that threshold and have the chase called off.
Almost 80 people, including innocent members of the public, died in the decade before 2020 during pursuits. And while police top brass acknowledge the policy change may mean more deaths,
this is an incredibly difficult area though. There are risks on either side.
They say the responsibility lies with the fleeing driver.
The problem with drivers who flee is they create a risk to the public, whether we're behind them or not.
Former cop Brendan Crompton works with at-risk youth. He believes the new rules may prompt more adults to pull over, but not teens, whose rational brains not fully developed until age 25.
Most of the young people we deal with do play video games that are violent and do include police chases. And what I see, if you talk to them, they're used to the car crashes and it's game over and you reset. When they crash, when they're in real life, it's not like that way.
A game of cat and mouse police find themselves playing all too often. Now there's a commitment to go harder for longer.
Karen joins us now. Kia ora, Karen. Do we know if there are any changes to who makes the call to pull the pin on the chase and what influences their decision?
Well, Mike, as you saw there, very little detail announced today, but under the old policy, an officer could initiate a search only if they thought that the public was going to be at risk. Now, if they think that there is a risk of further serious offending, they can start a pursuit. Now, the decision to do that comes from the officer in the vehicle, but at any point, his or her supervisor or the dispatcher in the control room can pull the pin. They're looking, of course, at the road conditions, the traffic conditions. Is the pursuit outside a school? But they're also talking to the passenger in the pursuing police car. They're gauging the level of emotion and the voices of the pursuing officers. Are they becoming too invested in the pursuit, and should they at that point then pull the pin? So all those sort of things they'll be looking at. And paramount in all of this, of course, is keeping the public safe at all times.
Karen, tēnā koe.